Hello guys, it's Friday, January the 5th. I'm sorry I'm late with the video. I'd forgotten that I had a doctor's appointment today, so that kind of pushed things back. Nothing like spending 3 hours at the doctor's office. But it is Friday. We had non-farm payroll in the U.S. This morning at 8:30 Eastern Time. I'm sure you know that now. I don't trade on Fridays anyway. I usually take off trades on Fridays, and I was able to take off all of my trades that I had on this morning. So I'm not in anything right now, and it probably won't be until either Sunday night or Monday. Because when the non-farm payroll comes out, it usually makes a big candle. You could say a 4-hour candle, 1 4-hour candle, and it stays within that range practically the whole day, so there's no reason to trade that. You can see the pound dollar says where the news came out. That's 3 candle 1-hour candles right there. That's what I'm talking about. And it done nothing the rest of the day. Sold off some, but not much of anything. Let me see, show you the 4-hour chart on here. There's the 4-hour candle. There's the 2 right there. So it's pretty much stayed within that range of that. So there's not any reason to trade those. The Aussie dollar, that's the news candle. That's going to get retraced. They always do. Not all of it, but some of it will. I'm expecting to pull down back into here for a possible buy on the Aussie dollar. That may happen Sunday night, may not happen till Monday. Excuse me. There's the 4-hour, still in a sell. I was looking for it to come down into here for a potential buy, and it still could. So we could have a short-term bounce to the upside before continuing to the downside. So there's nothing to do on the Aussie dollar, nothing. Actually, there was nothing to do on the pound dollar either. The pound cat has made a 1-hour sell, and the 4-hour is still in a buy, so those aren't in agreement. And right now there's not anything to do on the pound CAD unless you wanted to do a sell. If you did, the high of this candle you could use now as your stop if you got in. That would be your stop, the high of that candle. So you could still get in. I mean, not tonight, it's going to be Sunday, but it could gap down or gap up. So really there's nothing to do until Sunday night when it opens again. And that's on the pound CAD. The pound yen has made its move all the way up in here. It kind of went sideways after it made its push up after the news. Didn't do anything, stayed within that range, which it always does. This was a big winner for me. That pound yen was a big winner. I went long on that a couple days ago. The 4-hour has made a sell just like the 1-hour has made a sell, so those are in agreement. And you would think with this big push up that there's going to be a retracement on here before going higher. So if you're going to get in the pound yen again Sunday night, this candle high is your high, not that one. That one is now. Because if it takes that out, it's going to take that out and it's going to go higher. So save yourself a couple of dollars. The Euro New Zealand is in a 1-hour sell. Don't like those wicks right there. Plus there was a gap down, so that's going to get filled. The wicks are also going to get filled some. With this flush up from yesterday, expect some of that to get filled, so it could push down back into here before it heads higher. Where it's actually could push up, fill that in, and then go short. On the 1-hour, I would do nothing on the Euro New Zealand right now. Nothing. The 4 hour is still in a buy, but see, look how the side is pretty much gone sideways here since December 27th on the Euro New Zealand. Yeah, there's nothing to do on here till it pushes up to here or it comes down to here. It's in no man's land. Nothing to do. Pound New Zealand, same thing. You got a 1 hour, but you got, look at those wicks pushing up there. You got a 1 hour sell signal. And on the 4 hour, it's still in buy mode. So those don't agree. There's nothing to do on the Pound New Zealand. New Zealand yen is in a 1 hour sell. You would think after this flush up right here that there's going to be a retracement back down into here. It could be at the start of it now. If you got in Sunday night, that candle right there is your high right there. Not this one, but that one. Of course, you can't get into Sunday night. The 4 hour is in a sell too, so those are in agreement right now on the New Zealand yen. But these things have a tendency to gap up or go gap down on the open on Sunday night, so not sure what that's going to do. The Euro Aussie 1 hour, see that wick right there? See, these get filled in, not completely all the time, but you would think this flush up is going to get filled in, and that's going to get filled in. So is it going to come up here and fill that in, then go short, or is it going to come down here and fill in the flush up and then go up? Nothing to do on the Euro Aussie. The 4 hour on it is still in a buy. So right now I wouldn't be wanting to do anything on the Euro Aussie just yet. Euro CAD 1 hour is in a buy. You had 2 opportunities. That was the news. And then it went up a little bit, but not a whole lot. We basically done nothing. And the 1 hour, the 4 hour is in a buy too. So both of those are in agreement to the upside. Now here's a flush down right here. Expect it to get filled in at some point, just like this. This is 3 straight big huge candles on the 4 hour, and it took a little while, but then it filled it in. I'm expecting the same thing up to here, 149 level, and it's at 146, so that's 300 pips. So there is a money making opportunity here. I'll be looking for a buy on the Euro CAD Sunday or Monday if it sets up correctly. The Pound Aussies in a 1 hour sale. Again, it's got that big wick from off of the news, and it basically went nowhere. So there's no reason to trade. I don't trade on Fridays, and that's from his past history. Friday was my worst trading day of the whole week by far. It wasn't even close. So once I eliminated trading on Fridays, now I would get out of trades on Fridays if I was in it. But putting a trade on and trying to trade on Friday, I eliminated that, and boy, did my winning and percentage go up through the roof when I didn't. The big boys take off Fridays anyway, even when there's a non-farm payroll. The volume is dead, and that's because the movers and shakers aren't there. They're already heading to the Hamptons for their 3-day weekend. So whatever they do, we need to do. Just follow them. Because all you're doing is fighting the average Joes, the ones who lose 93% of their accounts trading. Let them fight that out. Don't need to stand there with them. I'm going to follow the ones that's got the money. I'm not going to follow the ones that lose the money. So that's why I changed my rules back in 2006. And have been successful trading the way I trade, for 17 years. No reason to change. The CAD yen, 1 hour sell signal. Of course, I had got out of that on Thursday, I think. Yesterday. I got out of that yesterday after a good move up. That was basically 150 pips, almost 150 pips. And on the long. Now I got in it on the 2nd and was able to get out yesterday on the 4th, so I did have to hold it a couple of days before I got paid. But look how big the payday was compared to people who normally take 8 to 10 pips. No reason to do that. Absolutely none. The 1 hour is in a sell. It's the start of a sell, CAD yen. Because we're expecting the yen throughout the year to get stronger, which means CAD yen's going to go down. The US yen's going to go down. The pound yen's going to go down. So just be aware of that, because they raised interest rates, not much, and they could go back to zero at any time, which they were for the longest time. The CAD yen 4 hour is in a sell too, so both of those are now in agreement. You see how these flush down work. See, there's a flush down on the CAD yen, basically 5 candles, 4 big ones, and it came back up, filled in the flush. See if there was one on the 1 hour. See, there's the 1 hour. Boom, boom, boom. That actually started to flush down on December 27th, and it finally filled it in on January the 4th. So basically 8 days later. So when those flush downs happen, they get filled in. You just don't know how long it's going to take, but they get filled in. So the CAD yen 1 and 4 hour are in agreement to the sell side. So it's kind of run away on the 1 hour here. You only had that one opportunity, because this one was pretty close. 66 and 01, 34. That's 35 plus 3 on the spread. $38 risk is a little bit greater than what I want to do. So I'm looking for a push up to fill in this gap right here. You see that gap right there? And once it does that, coming up into here, gives me a low risk trade. I'm going to sell it. That won't happen till Sunday night or Monday. But if it's close enough, depending on how it moves on the European session, Asian session, I may put in an order up in here, and hopefully it gets hit, and I wake up the next morning and it's gone down. The euro yen is in a 1 hour sell. It also has a gap right there, so that's going to get filled in. They always get filled in. They always do. You can go back and look in past history. You don't have to take my word for it. Just look at these charts, go back in past history. They get filled up. Except for penny stocks. Penny stocks don't, because they're manipulated. So you can't take those into effect. I wouldn't trade those anyways. That's too much like gambling. You want to be a trader, not a gambler. The 4 hour euro yen is in a sell too, so both of those in agreement to the downside. But that euro yen has got to fill in that gap. I may look for a sell on that when it gets up there close. Give me a low risk trade, hopefully $20 or less risk, and I'll take that and see what happens. They don't always work. So when the signal shows up, I wait for that. It pulls back down. This one actually worked, but I've seen them go up here and take out that low and go a lot lower. So that's why you have a stop in there. If you're in the right place, position wise for your trade, and you're able to put your stop in, if it's in the right spot, it doesn't matter whether the brokers know it or not, it's going to work. So I've heard people say many times, well, the broker knew where my stop was. Yes, they do. But it's because you had a bad entry and your stop was at a place it shouldn't have been. It wasn't the broker's fault. It was your fault. So you got to learn. You have to learn and what I do is I print off these charts every day, every single day, even when I don't make a trade. But when I do make a trade, I write on there why I got in, where I got in, where my first profit target was going to be, where I take off half the position, and then look for a second profit target in there. That way I can go back and look at it later on and be able to see where the mistakes were made, correct the mistakes, and where I was doing it right. I suggest you guys do exactly the same thing. I know what you're going to say. Ink is expensive. I don't have a printer. They're fairly expensive. If you're doing this as a business, you get to write it off as a business. Now, you won't get that full money back, but you'll get, a bunch of it back. So you have to keep your receipts when you do that stuff. That way you can write it off on your taxes as a business, LLC, if you want to. Last but not least, the Aussie yen 4 hour is still in a buy. It's just kind of creeping up, but it is going up, but it hasn't taken out that high yet. Got up close to it, got up close into here, but it hasn't done it yet. The 1 hour, this is what it looks like. There's a flush up on the 1 hour. That's going to get retraced. Just like that flush down, it got filled in for the most part. Definitely filled it in over here. This is going to get filled in too, somewhere down in here. If this doesn't, it's made a 1 hour sell. It has made a 1 hour sell. So just remember that. This would be a good opportunity for a low. That would be your high, this candle right here. Well, actually, this candle right here, because it's still wailed up there, about 15 more. So actually, that would have to be your stop if you got in Sunday night, as long as it didn't gap way down. Then your risk becomes too great. So the best case scenario would be this thing come down and fill in this flush, give us a buy opportunity to go up. So may be able to do both of these trades coming up in the week. So watch the odd Aussie yen. For those of you who are new to my channel is FX Starfleet. That's all one word. Of course, FX is short for Forex. I do swing trading. I don't do day trading, even though sometimes during the New York session, which I trade, there could be a trade or two. Swing trading, a way to have profit targets, I said, depending on the currency. They each have their own trading range daily, and that's what I base taking off half of my position. You don't have to take off half if you don't want to. It's strictly up to you whether you want to take an eighth, a fourth, a third, 3/4, whatever you feel comfortable with taking it off. But you got to have a second part to that somehow, to where it runs. Because if it goes up in here and you get in, and it goes up in here and you get out of the whole position, you missed all this. Then you got to try to find another place to get in when you were already in it, and all you got to do is just keep moving your stop up on the second half of your position. If the trade works like it's supposed to, and you don't have to take my word for it again, if you print these charts off, go back in past history, and the charts are going to tell you where to move your stop. And the second half of your trade will make more than your first half if the trade is correct, if it's time for it. So just remember these little tidbits. I got my middle son is opening a Forex trade account with a Wanda. That's who I've used, and I've used since 1998. They've been around longer than that, 30 years. So they're not going anywhere by these fly-by-night ones. If you're looking at if they're giving kind of incentives and stuff like that, these new companies, I wouldn't trade. You want somebody who's established, who's been around a long time, like Walmart. These pharmacies, they're not going nowhere. So you want to be reputable companies that's been around a long time, and they know what they're doing. They've built a system, and it works, and they're not going to change it because it works. So I've had too many of these guys message me and say that they opened up with certain accounts and they gave little bitty incentives, and some of them didn't even get the incentives. They're still barking to get them. But then a couple of them have closed down, filed bankruptcy. They're too new. They don't know what they're doing. They think they can open these companies up and get fast money. It doesn't work that way. You got to know what you're doing, and most of them don't. So go with somebody who's been around for a long time and be able to use them. The spreads are good on a Wanda. I don't never have any trouble getting in. If the trade is right, you know, and your 3, 4, 5 spread, that's not going to make any difference. Because whenever you're getting 150 pips, what is 3 or 4 pip difference? So what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, the weekend. Yeah, I hope everybody has a good weekend. Once again, sorry for the video being so late. Had a doctor appointment. Me and my wife went out to lunch. Had to go pick up a few groceries. Go by Walmart, which I hate to do. I hate going in that place. And needless to say, here I am doing my video. I'll have another one on Monday. Again, for those who don't know, I used to live stream for a little over 5 weeks. Nobody came, and that was after I paid for marketing to get that done. So I'm going to do it free this time. To say maybe that's the key to it. It's got to be free. Just have it out there and see what happens. But for me to go back to doing live streaming, I'm going to have a pretty good response from you guys. I'm willing to give up my time because my time's important just like your time is. So I'm willing to do that free of charge. But I got to have a good response. Because I am getting people who are, I don't know how they're getting my email. I guess it's YouTube has that. But they're emailing me and then they're messaging me in the comments section with several questions. And you know, the easiest thing to do is say, hey, bring back the live stream where we can be on live and do it correctly instead of going back and forth in this. But I mean, I guess there's a method to the madness. So I hope everybody has a good weekend, and we will see you on Monday.